time. So
what's poppin'? Happy Sunday. Let's say hello to James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
hey, everybody. Thank you for being with us here today. Brand new show, brand new times. We love it.
We do love it. I'm trying to pick. Me and James keep having like these moments where certain periods, all of the shows that we cover go away. So I'm trying to, like, when that happens, replace it with shows that are entertaining but lighter, if that makes sense. So hopefully that works out. But we're currently recapping on James's channel, Salt Lake City. We're also recapping Bell Collective. We're also going over, why is this slipping me? The Braxtons. In November, he's going to be adding Love and Marriage Huntsville back to that. So I encourage everybody to tune in.
And also don't forget Married to Medicine.
Oh yeah, Married to Medicine. November's going to be busy because November I will be covering is it called Surviving Mormonism with Heather Gay?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll be covering that on this channel. It's only 3 episodes, so that's just a short time. But then also in November, on the 4th, we have Love and Hip Hop Miami coming back. We're going to be busy.
We're going to be super busy. And then I go back to work, so that's going to be even more fun for me.
It's okay. I'm expecting you to struggle with that, so I'm already prepared to be more flexible. So no worries whatsoever. You'll get back into it, or you won't like it and you find another job, but you're going to do something. But let's get into the episode. This episode was the second of season 19. It was titled Don't Mess With My Texas Wedding. For those who've been watching Married at First Sight for a while, you know that this show did used to air on Lifetime. Peacock now owns the rights. It is airing on Peacock and Hulu. So I'm just letting everybody know that in case they're like, how are you seeing this? But let's get into it. And then at the end of it, we're going to go over just what happened a little bit in the first episode because James was unable to make it so that he can give his opinion as well since he'll be joining us. But let's start with the new couple, Megan and Derek. They're both the same age. They're both very attractive people. Very attractive, clear people. Megan has multiple careers. One of her careers being real estate. Real estate, the way she described it, is something that was for her. She does have another career, but it's a business that she runs with her family, specifically her mom, her dad, her brother, and her sister-in-law. That's crazy that they're able to do it, but I support that. That is crazy to me. But we learned that Megan's parents have been married for 43 years. Her mom is extremely skeptical about this process and does not hide it. Her mama look good too, though.
I was shocked when I saw that lady's age.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, whoa. And mind y'all, this is not a lady that has messed with her face. And if she has, it is work well done.
Right.
It is. If she's messed with her face, it is work well done because there's no way that lady's in her 60s. There's absolutely no way looking at her that you would think that she looked like she could be that lady's older sister.
Honestly, everybody in the show who was over 60 looked pretty good. I did worry about her mom, though, because her mom was very open and very vocal about her skepticism about the wedding. I thought it was strange that she sent him an ice bath for the gift. But how did you feel about Megan and that little introductory with her mom?
I liked Megan a lot. She reminded me a lot of me in the instance, because you could tell she's the single one of her siblings. You know, she's the one that you always count on. So I think the mom was skeptical in the sense of she was scared of who was going to, come get that money, because, that family has built wealth. But without giving too much away, his family looked like they came from money as well. So when you get to that part, I'm going to come back to that. But I'm just saying that's what she gave. She gave the energy like, oh, my God, you're going to marry somebody. We didn't talk about no prenup. We didn't have time to do this. We didn't have to. That's what her concerns look like to me, if I'm being honest.
Yes. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to sneeze. I have horrible allergies. I agree. It doesn't seem like her family is lacking in the wealth area or like the income area. So it does make sense that her mom would be like, hey, you need to protect this. But even though she's vocal, she's not she's not rude. But Derek, this is the male in the situation. He says he was in engineering. Now he's a COO for a health and wellness business. He does explain that he's dated people in other countries. He likes to travel. He's very extroverted. He said he's gone on dates where the only way they can communicate is through Google Translate. His parents were married for 41 years, but back to the date. Could you date someone that you could only communicate with via Google Translate, or having someone there to like, could you do that?
I have.
You have. How did it go?
So to make a long story short, you guys, I had dated somebody who was deaf. So in terms, and the thing about it is I did not know, or I did not pay attention, because this is somebody I met on Tinder. And he showed me, it says specifically that he is deaf. But when we went out on the date, he read lips very, very well. And he also, his speaking voice was very, very clear. So I did not pick up that he was deaf, and I did not know that he was deaf. And he didn't really say anything about it. And the waitress at the restaurant, because we dated twice, we went on 2 dates. The waitress at the restaurant, she goes, "You do realize he's deaf, right?" And I said, "No," because I think I asked him to pick up his napkin off the floor, and he didn't hear me. So she was like, "He's deaf, sweetie. Like, I feel like this is awkward. Like, what are you doing?" Like, so I have been in that situation where it wasn't an immediate contact, and it wasn't so much of a language barrier. It was, he had lost one of his, what is that called? I'm spacing. Senses. He had lost one of his senses. So I have been in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, language is much different from senses, but I get what you're saying. I couldn't imagine doing that, like starting and going through all of that. But people do it all the time. Shows like 90 Day Fiancé exist for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. Like, I haven't did a language barrier one. I don't think I ever will. But I feel like for me, the senses won't put me through a loop that I actually felt bad that I did that, and I shouldn't have felt bad because it wasn't my fault. Well, it was, but no, I've been through that where we've had to have an interpreter the second date, and he got frustrated, and that's why there wasn't a third date.
Well, I can imagine. Derek and I forgot the girl's name. Megan. They both, aside from being the same age, they have a lot in common. Both of their parents have been married for over 40 years, which is interesting that they're both single and never married when they're almost 40. This proves in my mind, I've noticed that more people that come from families with, like, let's say your parents have been married for 50 years, they always end up having like that kid that's just like forever single or something. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't, but it happens all the time. And I think what it is because the kids grow up expecting something that's unrealistic.
Yes.
And then they put those expectations, because that's how we learn from what we see, on what they expect when they date people. And you don't get that till you meet your person. So then they usually struggle with dating.
Well, and it's funny because now I'm the only taken one out of my siblings. So now my siblings are now single, and then I'm the one that's in a relationship. But it's always like that. I'm single, and then they're both in relationships, or they're single, and then I'm in the relationship. So it's never, and mind you, our foundation, our grandparents, they have been married 66 years. So that's our foundation for us, because my grandparents were also my second set of parents, because they helped raise me with my mom. So yeah, that's what we all saw, and it's very, very true. We come into this with the expectation of like, oh God, this is what we see, this is how they did it. But what you don't realize is sometimes your parents or your grandparents don't get together in the most like romantic or sensual way. They kind of get married based on either they had a and someone's pregnant and they got to get married, or it was, you marry into an affluent family, you're trying to get out of poverty. It was always something detrimental. It was never like the romance. So like, I say this to say, I've never seen my grandparents be romantic with each other in any shape, way, or form. So it's kind of one of those situations where you have to kind of realistically pay attention and look at, because like, I know we're going to get to it, but like, girl from the last episode with her parents, and how she says she's never seen them being physical, but they've been married for a long time. It's really, a lot of that is very common in old school times. So,
Yeah, that is actually very true. It is very true. I'm going to go off camera for a moment, you guys, because I'm having some tech issues on my side. So apologies. Aside from the parents and stuff like that, they also seem to both expect sex daily or want daily sex. Let me tell y'all this. People who don't or are not currently having sex usually expect to have a lot of sex when they get with somebody. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's not. But it's good that they're both on the same page. He is extremely extroverted. She is extremely introverted. So they are opposites, which I do think will help them. But getting to the wedding day, just to move it along through, he was noticeably awkward at the altar, but he did seem to smile and relax when she came out. I thought that this couple kind of proved that they were nervous and didn't have much in common in terms of like chemistry. It seemed like at first when they saw each other, that attraction seemed to help. I just think it proved that while attraction and physicality shouldn't be everything, it definitely is something that matters heavily. But everything went well with the wedding. During the first dance, she warned him about her mama, which I thought was smart. If you know you have difficult people in your family, warn your partner.
please, please say that again louder for the people in the back. If you know you have a parent that is difficult, it is best not just to say watch out or anything, just say, hey, just proceed with caution, because my mama is something else and I need you, or my dad is something else. He gonna really, like, just be cautious and be, on both your feet, because they're gonna catch you slipping up. Like, warn them so that way they know that they're not caught off guard, because that could actually be a situation in your marriage where, like, if you don't warn them about this, they may look at other things and use that as a silver bullet to why you don't tell them about certain things. So yeah, I'm glad that she did that too.
Yeah, she was smart, because a lot of people don't. And then
They don't say nothing, and then when it comes out of nowhere, then it's like it's an argument for days over something you could have just warned them about from the beginning.
A mess. But luckily she's avoiding it, so that's a good thing. At the, what is it called? The reception, I believe, afterward,
Yes.
where they eat and all of that. At the reception, they learned that they have different music tastes, and she kind of worried me because she seemed so offended that he did not listen to country music. Did you get that?
Yes. That annoyed me, but keep going.
I would just move it on along. So she complains to her friends about the country music. They don't seem to see it as a big deal, but she irritated me when she was like commenting on his like of EDM as if it was something that just aligned with drugs and being lit. And I was like, okay, so you're a little judgy.
You're a little judgy, and then you ignorant too. Because that was a very ignorant comment to make, because that is not the same thing. That is not the same, like, holistic view of that. That is not what that is. So that was like, so to me, I peeped it. That's when her and her mother are alike in that instance, because her mother also said something that was highly just really crazy to me. And I know you're gonna get to it. That's why I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it.
I'm not gonna comment too much on what the mom said, so feel free to bring it up.
Okay. You're not gonna. Okay. When she sat down and she was like, "Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't no serial killer," and me, her daddy been together, and it was just like she was saying compounding things as like, "Ma'am, unless your daughter didn't tell you what this show was and you went into this very blind," which I don't believe that, by the way. I don't believe that the mom went into this situation blind and just like, okay, well, you're going to do this, I'm just going to come support. I feel like the mother has a perception about these reality TV shows because she looks like she watches them and is probably hell-bent on not participating, because she looked like, to me, if she wasn't going to participate in it, then it was probably going to drag her family name down. She looks like she's very pretentious. That's probably why that daddy wasn't there. Because I'm like, You probably like you was trying to save face and save name, which is why you were very specific and very condescending on your conversation because they have doctors, they have therapists, they have people who do extensive interviews before these things happen. It's not like your daughter signed her life away to do some crazy shit. Like that mama was something else. I was like, damn. And even he looked uncomfortable. He was like, oh God. But it was funny because when she sat down with the daughter, and this would crack me up, she goes, okay, well, even if it doesn't last, I still want to keep in contact with his parents. I said, uh-huh. And that's what let me know his family got money too. Because they wouldn't just say that. So yeah. She was something else. I was watching her the whole time. I was like, mm-mm.
I think once we get to the point where everybody moves in, because they always do that at some point at the show, we'll start to see more of the dynamic with the mom, or maybe toward like the reunion, we'll see how she impacted them. But that was really it. I mean, after the wedding, they seemed to have good sexual energy. It seemed like they were more like easier to get into it. Do you think that they'll last?
No, I don't. You made a comment that says that he's an extrovert and she's an introvert. Based on their personalities and how different they are, I think that's going to stand in their way. Well, not so much him, her. I think she allows little things to stand in the way of something because it's not a big deal that he's not into the same things that you are. But I think she makes it a big deal because she wants that common bond in that way. Like she wants him to go to the concerts with her. She wants him to do the things that she likes. And if he doesn't like them, that could be a deal breaker for her. I could definitely see it moving that way. So, uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm actually having slight medical issues, you guys.
No, you're good.
Monitor blood pressure and all of that. Bear with me. That's why I keep going mute when off camera, all of that. So sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I'm not keeping that in my mind. But I also want to say, as you get yourself together, I also want to say in terms, I want those therapists to kind of pay attention to that in a sense, because she's also was vocal like that in her interview. And I don't know if they caught it, but y'all have to be careful when they say things like that and when things are that important to them. Because she says she goes to Cancun for a whole country music fest, and it's like, and he doesn't look like he'll be down to travel, but he look like he'll do something else. And that's where I don't want someone to be forced to do something they don't really like. If he don't like country music, I don't want her to force him to like it, and that's what it looks like she's about to do, and other things too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I have a feeling that her parents, part of what made it work is her dad may, for her, from her perspective, look to just give her mom everything, but she doesn't know what her mom is saying no to. She doesn't know the ins and outs of their marriage. But I was like, yeah, the country music thing, I'm glad you're bringing that up. This is why we have a co-host. I also did not expect to not feel well like this, but that's a good point because the music thing irked me in general. But you're going to Cancun every year for it. You're just like, hey, before we get into this, I want to let you know that this is more important. Like when the marriage is supposed to be the more important thing.
Also, I want to keep in mind that it is the same time as her birthday, which is also a dagger.
Yep.
Because that then forces him to now be obligated because you're now his wife to then celebrate something that he really does not enjoy. So therefore, you're already making the odds not even with him now.
Yeah,
because that's the double stinger. That's why I said I don't see them lasting. I see them having a lot. I think there's more of things that she likes that he will not. And as I said, that plays in your mind. And I want couples to understand this, especially when you marry somebody that is completely different from you. What they like is important. What you like is important. But that doesn't mean y'all have to come together and meet in the middle. It is okay to have that in separate balance. And it actually may help you in the long run if you have those separates and differences from each other, because he may not want to go to a Beyonce concert, but you got 3 or 4 girlfriends. That's your time to decompress and have fun and not feel like, oh my gosh, we need to have fun together. You have to have separate balance too in your relationship. And I think that that's what she's going to be missing in this experience.
Yeah. If you don't have that balance, it's going to be a problem.
Yep.
One person is either going to smother the other person or somebody's going to feel forgotten or like they're what they want doesn't matter. So it's a
Mhm.
lose-lose. But yeah, that's a very good point. That is the truth. I'm very opposite from my husband. And honestly, if I apply that to my own marriage, that's probably what makes it work. There's certain things that I do or have learned literally just because they're important to him, vice versa with him. But then there's also some things that we just do on our own. For instance,
Well,
I went to the Millennium Tour with a girlfriend, not his ass. You know,
right.
like
It's the same thing with me, and how I make it work is that I ask, "Is my presence needed?"
Yeah.
And he says yes or no. Because I have like, he'd be like, "No, your presence is not needed. Do not go." Like, for example, the biggest thing is the church thing. He prefers me not to go to the same church because he doesn't want the people to be judgmental. I like that I have my own church where I can do virtually at home. So it does not interfere with us at all, because I'm like, yeah, go with your mom, go with your family. I'll stay at home and watch my virtual church, and then we're good. So I'm not obligated to do that with him, is what I'm saying. And, you know,
And that's the thing. Go with your mom, go with your family, enjoy your church. A lot of people think that when they get married, that the person they're marrying is being added to an already existing family when you're supposed to be detaching and creating your own. And
mhm.
creating a family does not involve children. So, you know, a lot of that. But I think me and James are both on the same page that homegirl gonna be a problem
Yeah.
in some way. And I'm not saying they can't make it work, because I do think they have the potential to do it, especially with how easy the chemistry was. But I think that she is shallow in certain areas independently. And I think that she has some growth that she could definitely do in maturing as it relates to relationships. Because a lot of people that I know who are single and successful at her age, I have lots of friends her age, single, successful, and people are like, why can't you find something? What's wrong with you? This and that. And it's like sometimes when you're used to being alone, you get too comfortable being alone, kind of like the older couple we're going to talk about in just a moment. And 38 years alone is a long time. Even if you've had other relationships, like that's a long time. So she's gonna have to learn to compromise the same.
Not only that, but she has to learn how to balance as well. And I think that that's her problem, is that she doesn't know how to balance. She doesn't know how to be different versions of herself, because she could be a very much a married woman and be very much so independent too. And I think that she is compartmentalizing them both because of what she saw her mom do. And I think that that's where it's going to hit for them too. I feel like that's what's going to hit, is that, and he's so detached from what a normal life looks like, that there's never going to be common ground for her to really understand what that is like as well. I think that, yeah, she's definitely going to be the bigger problem.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Now we're gonna move on to another couple. James will love this show because today it'll be a little bit longer because I'm gonna go over some stuff with what James missed, but because we're both in relationships, so you know I want his opinion. But for this couple, Rhonda and Pat. Pat is 59. He's a handsome gentleman. He's a handsome older man. He is. Rhonda 63. Beautiful woman. She's aging gracefully. She looked good. She looked
Mm-hmm.
really good. These 60-year-old people, y'all boomers, y'all look good. Okay. But Rhonda basically, just to get a little background on her, she says that it's hard for her to date for her age. This is something different I'm not used to. I've seen couples on Married at First Sight that have been married, but it's usually when they were like super young or something, like 18, 21, or like
Mm-hmm.
nothing too long if it was something older. So like nothing too significant. But this is the first time since I've watched the show really that I'm seeing like, okay, Miss Rhonda was married to her husband for a very long time, for 9 years, which is a long time, not in the eyes of the court, but to me, that's a long time. And the man that she was married to, she had 4 kids with him. She said that the entirety of her marriage, and I thought this shit was crazy and could not wait to talk to James about this specifically. She said they got married after only knowing each other for 3 months. That right there, I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. But they lasted 9 years. But this is why you don't want to just get married after 3 months, because the whole time she was with him, she said that he would not get a job.
She said he didn't want to work, and she got sick of it. She didn't say he was disabled. She didn't say he worked and then stopped. She said we was together for 3 months, got married, had a baby within the first year, kept having them, and then somewhere, I would assume around the third or fourth child, she realized, oh, this Negro ain't working. So I don't blame Rhonda for getting a divorce. Before we get into her love life, she had a second marriage. It was only for 18 months. She does express later on in the show that the reason she got into that marriage was because she felt like she needed to provide her kids with that stability because she was a single mom for a very long time. And a single mom with 4 kids, my mom did it, is not easy. Like, it's definitely not easy. So I did feel for her in that aspect. But before we get into Pat, because Pat's story was a little simpler. He was also married for 30 years. He says he stayed for his kids. It sounded like the chemistry died because he was like, I just couldn't do it after so long without the sex and things like that. So he left. But it sounds like his kids was grown and all of that. But I want to know, like, and he's only been divorced for 5 years, which I also think is a little bit of a concern because that's a really, when you've been married for 30 years, like I've only been married for what? How many? Oh, shit. Oh, Lord.
It's 14 going on 15.
Thank you. I've been married as long as James just stated, and I genuinely could not like imagine if I were to get divorced or something, like getting back into a marriage just 5 years after being in something for over a decade is crazy, but 3 decades, but that's not too concerning. He's probably used to being in a relationship. But James, how did you feel about her marrying the kid's dad after 3 months and then him never getting a job? Because I would have been gone after kid number 2.
I'm gonna put it like this, because we didn't see any pictures of him, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna say it like this: that man was fine as hell, and he had good D, and the sex was constant, probably. And after a while, and after 3 or 4 kids crying, because those kids are very close in age. So after 3 or 4 kids crying, hollering, screaming all the time, the sex with that person gets boring, can gets, stale. And it's like, okay, can we do something else? And because he lacks ambition, there's nothing more to cleave onto that. So therefore you leave it. Not a big deal. Nothing I've never heard or seen before. It definitely is very, very common, especially women of her timeline. A lot of y'all women are, the cleanup woman. That's usually what that is. It's the cleanup woman. It's the woman that, cooks, cleans, does everything for the man. Usually your friend zone, but then they, may give you some every now and then. And he probably was looking for a comfortable home and she provided it. So therefore you marry him. It's very simple. It's a very simple thing. But as I said, that shit gets old. Sex gets old after a while, you guys. It's not supposed to. But when that's the only thing that you're cleaving on to in a marriage, it gets old. Because you realize it ain't even all that after a while. It's like, okay, yeah, we got to do it. But yeah, it's something that, you
better preach,
it happen.
because people think that sex is everything. Sex can be great. It can. But if it was everything, then
she would have still been married.
Have so many people out here living in promiscuity. It's definitely not everything.
Let me explain something to you. I'm gonna tell you from a male's perspective. Let me tell you, because I in a relationship with a man. I totally get it. There's only so many exciting moments of what it does. There's only so many positions you can do. There's so many times and ambiances that you will see. So I honestly respect the couple who says they have sex less and more intellectual with each other than the couples that say they have sex all the time, every single day. It's lovely, it's general, because it will get to a point it's boring.
That's a good thing to bring up too. That's why we like shows like this, because it does spark up the conversation. Because they say that, like, when they look at statistics and stuff, they just did one for like married couples and stuff. Yep. Most married people are having sex like 2 or 3 times a week. To have sex every single day, if you're doing it right, I'd be drained.
Here's the thing. Like, well, here's the thing. I think the people who say they want sex every day is because they don't get none on the regular.
Yep. Yep.
So that's where they kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I need to have it every day. But you have to understand, it gets draining, it gets exhausting, it's not what y'all think it is. I'm telling y'all from somebody who has been on both sides of the coin. It is not what y'all think it is. And for y'all people who be like, well, why do men cheat? Why do men have it? I said, because they get bored with the same old thing. That's why you have to space it out. That's why you have to. And then you also have to have a man that wants it in the romantic way, not just to have sex, just to have it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Child. By the by, we're going to be doing our first live where we discuss relationships and topics like this and all of that. Next weekend, day after Halloween, the 1st of November, I will be with James. We'll be doing it together. So I'm excited to do that. I'm also going to still have a live where we just give our opinions on reality TV couples with Shayna _MCD. I just have to find the time and energy and will to do it. But I will eventually.
It sound like we ain't never leaving my house on Saturday is what that sounds like.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't care.
No, we have to because I got to eat. So yes.
Well, yeah, we gotta leave to eat, but James said I need to eat.
No, I'm just playing. No, that can totally be like.
No, we have to eat.
Yeah, I know.
More than an hour. With us there, it should be faster.
Right.
Let me see. So Rhonda, outside of that, Rhonda's extremely quirky. She's super fun. I liked her. She was a lot, but I liked her. Now, honestly,
I could see her going on a Housewives franchise. Like, I really can. She would do so well. Like, I would put her in Beverly Hills. I really would.
All right.
I would.
She's very fun, which is something I like. Like the experts explained it well. Like, Rhonda has the spirit and energy of a 23-year-old.
Yes.
So I love that for her. But she looked nice. She chose not to wear white because she's been married twice, which makes sense. She wore red. She looked really, really nice. But she came down the aisle. I really like people like Rhonda. Now, there's some people who are boisterous, bubbly, quirky, who are obnoxious, and you're like, turn the shit off. She seems like someone who knows when to turn it on and turn it off, but she also seems like someone when they come in the room, everybody feels welcome. Everybody. Because she came down the aisle, gave that man a hug, looked like she was ready to kiss him. Like, she was very excited about it. And I think this is some divorcees, you say, I see why you were divorced. Others learn from what caused them to get divorced or just went through life and are grateful and value the idea of marriage, or the institution, as Karen would call it.
You know what it is about her as well, because that's a good point that you brought up. I think she's honest about why her marriage broke up in the first place. A lot of people are not honest about that. A lot of people will kind of be like blaming the other person. Well, they were this, they were that. She said he didn't work. I was willing to take him at any point. If he went to McDonald's and got a job, I would have been grateful, but he didn't want to do it. So she's like, I'm taking accountability because I let him and gave him options versus saying, hey, either do this or you don't. So to me, I felt like she has a level of honesty with herself. That's what makes her fun. Because when you live in your truth, you guys, you end up like Rhonda. When you really honestly live in your truth and you are, just happy with your being, especially if life has taught you that, because that's the whole purpose of life. Life is supposed to teach you not only the lessons, but the joyous of those lessons, the joyous of those moments that were maybe fun at one point, but not so much. And you need to learn to move on from them. That's what Rhonda gave me. That's what I saw in her from the moment I looked at her. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's why she's one of my favorites on this show, because she really is the epitome. And it's not like we're not going to have another one of her in the next episode. So I don't want people to be like, well, she's lived life. We're going to have another one who's lived life. And I swear she's going to be different.
Yeah, everybody's different. About at the age, not everybody who's lived life acts the same. But she did irk me though. Rhonda, I love you to death, girl, but she would not be quiet during the vows. But I feel like it was because of her nerves and all of that. And I could understand now when she spoke to her sons earlier in the episode, they were like, we just worry you may be a lot for someone. I can understand that, but I'm also someone who believes there's someone for everyone. We just don't always know where to look. So be authentic. If she's a lot and that's her personality, she needs to be that way. Because you're never going to be happy if you conform and change yourself just to be with someone or to be tolerable for someone else. Like that's unrealistic.
Well, and also her kids are young too, so at the same time they haven't lived the life. They don't understand that there's always somebody out there that wants that energy. There's
Yep.
always somebody out there that will appreciate that from her. So I don't want that. So because when they said that, that irked me, but I also have to remember they're still growing up, because it was like, okay, there's always somebody in this world that is going to enjoy that from her and is going to feed into that more, so that she should be fulfilled. Like, y'all shouldn't have to worry about her being too much. Y'all shouldn't have to worry about her going over the
I
top.
think it's weird though that she was saying that her son has tried to hook her up before. Because I'm just thinking like, okay, my husband and his mom have a pretty open, good relationship. And I'm just like, but I can't see him ever like, Mama, I'm gonna hook you up with somebody. Like that's a little odd to me, especially with how you said how young they are. So I think it's great that they love their mom, but I also feel like
I mean,
the kids
I have to
maybe
say your government name
potential.
on this one. Let me explain
Huh?
something to you. If Daddy Warbucks walk into somewhere and I see him, Mama, where you at? I'm sorry. I would do it. If I really found somebody that I was like, or if I met someone just happened to be like maybe casual, like maybe I'm at a restaurant or at an event, and like I really feel like he a vibe and stuff, and he would be great for my mom and stuff, I would set my mom up. I would. I'm not opposed to that. But see, the thing about my mom like thugs. My mom like, she don't like normal, like,
The Bay
yeah,
Area.
she do. So it's like, that's why I
Hey,
don't do
Hilton,
it.
leave your mama alone.
No, but I would. That's why I say I don't see nothing wrong with that. But if it was like, if it was genuine, like to me, I'm not going out searching for somebody from my mom. But if I happen to meet somebody, I'm like, oh, you cool, you my mama age. I got a mama. Like, and I'm not in her business. Like, none of our kids are in her business because we want her to marry. So yes, go ahead. Like, oh,
Well, I don't think I would ever hook up a parent unless it was like with somebody in the church or like somewhere that we frequent often. But I would still feel uncomfortable with it just because I don't want to hear or feel like they got to come to me. But either way, she's loved Rhonda. I don't have really much bad to say about her. And something you said that really just perfectly sums it up is she seems like she has lived and learned, which I love, and has been accountable. Hello, Kathy. Happy Sunday. She said, not give me a loving thug. JoJo, come get your mama.
right. I don't know what it is about y'all mamas and wanting these thugs. Like, that is such an old thing now. Can he just be a businessman that carried a briefcase and wear the night
James, I'm
hat?
sorry. I'm going to defend my mother-in-law and every woman over the age of 40. That shit is boring. Okay? Now, you ain't got to be like a thug, like actively in the streets and whatnot, but you got to have some type of heart, I will say. But nobody want no
That is
business man
hot.
to come
Carry the
home and
briefcase is hot. That
talk
is.
to you about CD accounts and shit. That's boring.
They ain't gotta talk to you about that. All you gotta do is come home. You give him a cold beer and you let him watch his football game, and you go about your business and spend his money. What the hell is the wrong? What the hell's the
James,
problem?
you ain't shit. You want to spend the money with him. I cannot. James said he can spend his money. I was gonna say, I'm thinking of Bronwyn and Todd. And I just feel like their conversations are so boring, low key.
It is boring. It's because she don't know what she doing. That's the problem with Bronwyn. And he knows that she don't know what she doing. And he likes it that way because he can always manipulate and control her. That's why he likes that. I'm telling you. He likes that whole dynamic of her not knowing what she's doing, because then he can always pull the puppet strings. He knows what to say to get her mad. He knows what to do to get her out of his face. He knows what to do. That's what they want. But my whole thing is this, and I'm gonna move on to Pat in just a minute. But my whole thing is this: it's not about y'all wanting a loving thug. We want y'all to be happy, and typically what comes with thugs is childish behavior a lot of the time, and y'all complain about that all the time. So I'm trying to eliminate that, because if you want a man that's grown, far and few,
I
far.
got with an Android educated thug. That's my daddy.
Your daddy far and few between.
Well,
Because
I can't comment much because he watches my lives.
an educated thug is far and few between. I'm telling you, they can like it's a difference. Like we're not talking about Isaac O'Day here. Like we're not talking about that. We talking about we talking about like hi Shanny. Okay, let me run the Pat.
Get your friend James.
Let me move on to Pat. Now, Pat, something you said I did agree with. I feel like to be married 30 years and only have been divorced 5 years, I feel like I need to know more backstory of why you and your wife divorced.
He didn't tell us enough.
He didn't tell us enough.
Like,
yeah.
Like I was confused. I was like, okay, the sex stopped. I got that, but usually in a
that's very minute. That's very
be like a reason or something.
That's expected.
Yeah.
Like the sex is going to stop. That's why we said stop putting your energy into it in the beginning and space that sucker out. So that way, you know, you always have an expectation. That's what I'm saying. Two times a week is fine because that gives you, look, you have it Monday before you go to work and you get it Friday when you come home. And then we have the weekend to turn up. It's very, very sensible. When you have it every
on a schedule.
I just threw out an example. I'm not saying.
Oh, Jesus.
I am not saying do that. No, I'm not saying do that specifically. I'm giving an example of like, that's why I said that. That's what's wrong with the society because they think like that right there. You just did it. That's what's wrong with society. I'm not saying put it on a schedule. I'm not saying put it on a schedule. I'm saying space it out to where you miss it enough to say, yeah, we need to do it real quick. We need to, and see, all of them disappointed me, and I'll talk about it at the end. All of them disappointed me with the exception of Rhonda and this couple because I know they did it. But here's the thing. Once again, I feel like I need more backstory to Pat because I feel like the reason you got divorced, Pat, is because you cheated. I honestly believe, I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna say allegedly because he's on reality TV and he's on the show that I am recapping. I'm gonna say allegedly, but I feel like that's the reason, and you're not saying it. I feel like it's two things. I feel like it's control. That's one thing because I did notice that about him, and then I'm thinking it sounded like cheating to me. It did.
The other thing, which I could imagine, because he kept going back to the sex thing, and he said that was very hard for him. Mm-hmm. But I could definitely see the control thing. Pat needs to tell us more. I don't know that we'll get more just yet, but he definitely does need to tell us more. I do think they slept together. I thought it was cute that they jumped in the pool together, just because that's something that later down the line they'll be like, remember we got married, we didn't know each other, but we hopped up in the pool, you know, things like that. Let me catch Jenny's comment. I love a thugged out colorless boy. Oh Lord.
See, here's the thing, and that's
from Power.
No, I would never see if we talk about me, Shady. That's perfect for you, but me, no, I got to have the one that work on Wall Street. I need the one that I need the Brad. I need the Steve.
I'm gonna be the loudest person in y'all house at events. Lord.
Well, no, we'll see. Well, now I ain't got to worry about that because I have the loudest one. And so you trust me, y'all can out loud each other all y'all want to because yes, he's very loud. So yeah,
I cannot.
Yeah, don't give me an eviction notice.
I love Tommy from Power, y'all. Force, Power Book Force, the final story and final season of the series airs in November. I'm very excited. I'm gonna be in Mexico with my husband. I'm gonna be finding a way to get an American signal to watch that shit. Love it. Marky Mark, she's talking about Mark Wahlberg, for those who don't know, in Four Brothers when he's walking across the frozen lake to kick some ass. Mark Wahlberg, he's an attractive, colorless man. He is.
I was more attracted to the brother.
Which one?
The chef.
James, I'm not doing this with you today. Moving forward. Lord help us, y'all. Moving forward, we did learn a little bit more about Pat's situation. That also was, some of it was red flags to me. So he has just moved to Austin. All of the couples, Married at First Sight, for those new to the show, they always go to a different city to do this and to make it more realistic for people actually getting married at first sight. If you're in the same city or area, it helps. But He is new to Austin. He's only been in Austin for about a year and a half, he says. Meanwhile, Rhonda's been in Austin since 1984. I'm thinking of Since 84 by Mac Dre in my head, and I can't help it because I'm ignorant that way. But she has been there for a very long time. So like her life is in Austin. That's obviously her home and where she has rooted, you know, all of her life. He says he is temporarily living with his mama at 59 years old. And he says that the reason he's 59 years old and living with his mother temporarily is because his father passed away. His parents were together. His father passed away, though, 3 years ago. And you said that you just moved to Austin a year and a half ago. He said that the reason he said his mom house is helping her to like get adjusted and things like that and get back into a routine after her husband passed. Now, for his mom, a husband passing away, like if my husband were to pass away and I'm knocking on wood, like 3 years, I don't think you can heal within 3 years. Like you just don't always move on from stuff like that. But wouldn't you have gone with her 3 years ago, not a year and a half ago? Like, I don't know if something happened to bring him back there. I feel like there's more to the story because he has a great job. He's highly intelligent. He was stable. He's been divorced for a total of 5 years. So,
alimony.
Huh?
Alimony.
Yeah. That it has to be that because you've been divorced for 5 years, but you telling us you moved into your mom's house for one reason, but then the one reason you have sounds
suspect.
Yeah, suspect, because you would have been gone 3 years ago. You would have been with her, but you've only been with her for one. Listen, condolences to him on losing his father. That's difficult. And I do not judge this man. He was obviously a man. He was obviously able to care for his family for 30 plus years. But like James said, he probably is paying that lady alimony. And
because I would have said, because I would have respected him more if he said, you know, I moved here, bought a beautiful house, but I had to move my mom in because, you know, she had a hard time, you know, without my father here. And I want to make sure if she does decide to go back on her own that, you know, she takes the time that she needs. Had he came like that, I understand that. As I've lost a parent, I completely understand because my stepmom has still not left the family home. She has no intention to do it, but I just know that in terms, if it was a circumstance like that, I would want to make sure she was comfortable if that was the situation. So for me, listening to him saying I moved, it made it seem like him moving in with his mom was more about him than it was about the mama. If that's what we're trying to put it, you know, into perspective.
Yeah, I agree. Not much really else happened with this couple. I do think they'll be okay. I have a feeling that they both want it so much and have lived so much that they will appreciate finding love. Or they at that age, well, I don't know. But go ahead.
So asking your question, do you think they will last?
I just said I did.
Oh, I didn't hear it. That's why I was like, oh, okay. I actually do not think they will last.
Oh, why not?
He's good at putting on his representative.
Yeah, that's true.
He's good at putting on his representative. There's something about him that, as I said, the controlling part. I don't think that in hindsight, Rhonda is somebody that wants to be controlled. And I feel like that's going to come, and I feel like that's going to play. And see, and that's why I say you guys have to be honest and upfront about who you are instead of showing the representative. Yeah, it's cute because you're getting married, but be honest. Like, there's nothing. Yes, I have a bit of a control itch about me. Please be aware I'm working.
Able to recognize that about himself, and which I could definitely see, especially the way that he described things. But I mean, honestly, with this couple, I could see them lasting, but I can also see various reasons why they would not last. I think they'll be fun to watch because of that. Because you never know.
They'll definitely be fun to watch, but I think he was putting on. I don't think he's really that accepting. I think he did what he needed to do to woo her. And I think because she's been out the game so long that she didn't really pick up on, but there was things I picked up on with him that I felt like it was definitely performative. It was definitely, you're trying to see her to see the glories and glitz
all
about
of the
you.
quotes about space, because he works
Yes.
aeronautic engineering and all of that. It was like, okay, it's like a reminder constantly. And a lot of people have expressed being with people who are intelligent. I actually had this conversation with my husband when I decided to achieve a degree higher than a bachelor's degree, because I do eventually want to go for my doctorate. But I had a conversation with him to make sure, like, I don't want you to feel like it's going to change me or like I'm any different or smarter than you just because I will be skilled in one area. He doesn't seem like that person. He seems like the person that likes to remind people of his accolades, his intelligence, and what they have. But I'm gonna wait. I do hope they work, but we'll see. Last thing we're gonna go over, y'all, because James didn't join us for the first live, is going to be Josh and Jalen as a couple. We talked about them in our previous video. Please see the Married at First Sight playlist on the channel. You can also find the videos in the Watch Your Mouth Reviews collabs playlist. But we see a little update with them. It seemed like she wasn't too interested, or Josh wasn't too interested in sex. It seemed like he just wanted to cuddle. James was not here for the first live. I sensed from Josh, not that he's gay, not that he's metrosexual, which is a more feminine straight man, but he gave me someone that could go either way with dating. Like, what do they call it? Is it pansexual, where they're just attracted to who they're attracted to? He gave something like that, but he did not give me fully straight. Then it comes to get into bed with your wife. You literally just wanted to cuddle. I'm hoping that they did a little more than cuddling. It doesn't have to be sex, but how did you feel about Josh and Jalen, whose mom I believe we'll see next week get married?
Love them as a couple.
They're cute.
You see, for me, I did not get that vibe from him. What I actually got was the wounded baby bird from him because of what he went through. He wears that emotion on him so much. And because that emotion is there, it can also look like that. That's why I said I didn't really get that from him.
I talked to my husband about that also, because I was like, okay, after seeing his grandmother special, I love Carol. She's a crier. She raised him. Usually we are similar to those who raised us, but it was just like certain things with him seemed a little off, but he also might just be one of those people. There's a such thing, unfortunately, as too good of a guy. And sometimes
I think he has flaws, and they're gonna come out.
You can be too good of a guy and still have flaws, but just the way he comes off in the beginning, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of perfection with him episode after episode until he finally gets to a point where he forgets cameras is there and shows us.
What's gonna probably happen with him is, because I did sense the mama issues, so I think that's going to come. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to show and reflect. But I also think he's looking for an expectation of love that she's not capable of giving, and that's because she didn't have it in her home. To me, she gave that she wanted to be married. She wants love. But I think her love meter is different from his. So I think that for me, and especially learning the backstory of her own parents, they were high school sweethearts, and then when they got married, her dad went into professional baseball, which is crazy because he looks like Russell Ortiz, and that's who I thought that was. But in terms, I think that, seeing the infidelity, seeing the, things that her mother went through, I really feel like there is a sensibility where she feels like true love really does not exist, which is why she went into this experience. And him going into it from a vulnerability that he just wants to be loved from his mother, who really could not give it to him, and he just met his father.
So I think she does believe in true love, because she stated that the guy who passed away, she still described him as the love of her life. And I feel like she has to heal from that to.
But that just proved my point, though.
Like, if you already have found the love of your life, it's not that you don't believe in true love. You just believe that you found it already and won't find it
again. Love was
a
game to her at that point. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand love, because she broke up. She said it. She broke up with that boyfriend because of, she didn't really feel it. And then she got with another one to make him jealous.
They were going through a rough patch. She didn't say she got with the other guy to make him jealous, but that they went through a rough patch. They couldn't work it out. They broke up. She got with the new guy. And then when she got with the new guy, she learned that her ex had passed away, which hit her hard, made her realize the stuff they had an issue with was troublesome. And then the new guy that she was with then cheated on her, which was kind of like, adding.
But okay,
salt.
that's where I'm getting to play it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm getting to play, because to me, a rough patch does not mean, unless you go into further details with it, a rough patch does not mean you walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It doesn't for you. It doesn't for me. But I think that's why there's so many more people single today and not ending up in marriages that work compared to how it was a couple years ago, like, or a decade ago. Like, that's part of it, because people say F it, people get tired, people have unrealistic expectations, but it's definitely a piece of it. So I don't know. They both have issues. I had sensed from them, I said this on my live for the first episode, that they have a trauma bond.
yes.
And it may not be that they both you don't have to share a trauma with someone to have a trauma bond. You don't have to have
No.
the same trauma. Like, he's got mom issues. Her parents were there for her, and she said her parents stayed together only because she felt like they had to stay together for their kids. They have different pain, but they're both seeking out this experience based on trauma, because she's only 27 and he's only 31. Like, they still have time.
They still have time to go. And no, and I totally get what you're saying, but I just feel like, for me, I feel that they're looking for two different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're looking for two different things. Do I think they will work? Yes. But I think it's going to be a willing effort, and they both need to grow individually, and then some way find a way to come together. I feel like, for me, these two are just way too young to understand that. So I can see them divorcing, but I also could see them finding their way back to each other once they've done the growing, because they had great chemistry. They really did. So I'm thinking maybe once they get past the growth spurts, that they would be a better couple then.
Yeah. I like them. No, I do hope they work out. I think
I do too.
they're one of the more likable people I've ever seen on the show, honestly. Last people I'll ask you about Brittany and Will. Married at First Sight is very good. I said in my first live about diversity, there's always couples from different backgrounds, spaces, different colors, all of that, which I love. So shout out to the Black couple. Brittany and Will, they had an okay wedding. To me, I thought it was awkward, but they basically end their wedding with her saying she sensed some sexual tension. She'll see where it goes. I don't know if they'll do anything. I don't know if they'll last either. Something with him rubs me a little wrong, and something with her rubs me wrong, like independently. And then I put them together and I feel extra rubbed in the wrong way. So I don't know what it is with them. That's just what my opinion was on them. But how do you feel about Brittany and Will? Do you think they'll last?
No. I don't think they will last. I don't know. This is where, doctors and everything, they mean well when they try to put couples that have, common gestures, common realities, common everything. But in this case, this is where they're one exception to the rule, as us biology majors would say. The one exception to the rule messes up, because I feel like these two do not have anything intellectually. I feel like these two, on his part, maybe there is some sexual attraction to her, but on her part, there is not any sexual attraction to him. And I don't care what she says. He is handsome, absolutely, but I don't see it being a sexual thrust for him. I don't see it being, oh my gosh, like, yeah, he definitely does. I don't see that from her. I saw it from him, but definitely don't see it from her. So that could be a gateway where she'll put a wall up, because she looks like she does that. She looks like she puts walls up in different variations of circumstances. And y'all, I'm sorry, I have to be honest. That is the wrong thing to do when you are getting married to somebody, is putting walls up like that in different variations. And that's why I feel like this experience, and they're the couple that reminds me that this experience may not be for everybody. This experience may not work for everybody because of those different things. Like, to me, you have to go into this completely open, because you don't know what you're going to get, and it's unfair for someone to have to be married to you and have to break walls and barriers that they didn't create.
That's true.
So for me, when I was looking at her, I saw that immediately. There is family trauma, there's a loss of a sibling, there are parents who did not set a great foundation, because once again, her mother looked like the cleanup woman. She do. That's exactly what the cleanup woman looks like to me.
Her mom. I'm curious about her dad more so. I also worried about Will and his interaction with Brittany's dad. Not everything has to be an essay response with annotations, citations, and annotated bibliography and a reference page. And that's how he responded to everything. He responded to everything as if he was in a job interview or in a debate.
Well, it was just his questions about God and stuff. Like, I hate when people do that because it looked like you just
talk about religion or politics.
Because if I'm being honest, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he looked like he just found God 2 months ago. So I don't want to, I just don't like when people do that.
They are in Texas, and I'm sorry. My family from the South, I love them to death. People will sin and do the craziest shit and still be in church at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Okay, so her dad did give that, so I don't think you're wrong in saying that. But his response was everything. So, you play dominoes, and even then, well, yes, I play spades, dominoes, cards. I'm just like, so I don't know how the families will mesh. The one thing I do know is I don't like. And I'm going to just say this because this happens in the Black community. I don't like no judgy church Black folk. Just because you go to church don't make you no better than me. Just because you show up every day to church don't mean I have no less chance of walking through the gates of heaven than you do. It's how you live, how you honor God, what you do. Her dad and the mom kind of gave that, but I don't see it for this couple mainly because of her example. That's weird. No affection with your parents growing up,
and then for you to be able to recognize it and then not want to do that yourself, it's kind of like, okay, but this is why I said it's walls that she's putting up based on her own trauma. And as I said, these are not walls that he created. It's stuff that she already has. So now he has to unpack that as her husband to get her. And it's possible, yeah, like not everybody's supposed to be coming to you perfectly, but at the same time, that's a lot of work to put into for someone you just met. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
especially when you're gonna have to live with
yes
them. Like, I still work through my trauma all the time. My spouse still work through his trauma. We still figuring stuff out.
But here's the thing.
She doesn't seem. It's easier to work through trauma when you know your partner versus having to worry about getting to know someone.
Yes.
Worrying about what their triggers and stuff is while also trying to work on yourself. So that's the part where I'm like, even though this is a relationship experiment with experts, I wonder from the experts' perspective, like, human nature is to open up, and it's easier to get to know people in situations where we have comfort, and these people ain't gonna have no comfort.
I want to watch the full casting tapes. Do they ever post those?
Sometimes, usually towards the end of the season.
And do they post the full interview conversation too?
I don't be watching stuff like that, but
the reason why, if anybody knows, put that in the comments, because I'd look at the comments. Do they really post the full conversations and the interview process? I want to know what questions are being asked. And I want to know, because to me, as I said, I told y'all, I feel like with this couple in particular, I feel like they got it wrong. I do. I feel like
that's the other thing watching this show, because James is newer to this show. Dr. Pepper, Pastor Calvin, there's always another expert there. They get it wrong all the time. That's
do they? Okay.
Season 1. Like, and that's what a lot of people have to remember who go through the process or choose to seek help for finding a relationship, whether it be through a dating service, whatever the hell. Like, they're going to get it wrong because no one really knows what's right for you but you. And even sometimes you don't know what's right for you if you're not in the base space for you. So it's one of those things where I've seen this repetitively, like couples that I'm just like, why would they even match
because I see the red flags based on her wordings. Like, I see
it's a TV show though, so I feel like in the beginning, they were probably more authentic than it is now. I feel like they still let the experts do what they can to match people up. But I also feel like the producers may not be able to choose from all of the applicants like they would want to or should be able to do appropriately. Production was probably like, we like these ones for the show. You could pick and match them up based on this or something. But we will be back again, y'all, tomorrow to go over the third premiere episode of the season 19 premiere of Married at First Sight. The show is available to watch on Amazon Prime through, my brain is stopping.
Peacock. Yes.
You can also watch the show on Hulu. I believe those are the only places. It's not airing on Lifetime for this season, but there were 4 premiere episodes. So we are 2 episodes through. So I will do the 3rd episode after James's Housewife of Potomac live tomorrow. And then I'll do the 4th episode. I'll do the 4th episode on Tuesday. But be sure to subscribe to James's channel. The link is in the description of this video, y'all. We will be covering the Surviving Mormonism. We'll be on his channel for Salt Lake City later in the week. But I appreciate you, James.
Thank you. And have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.